My name's Louise Clark, and I specialise in working with women crack cocaine users and stimulant users. And today I want to make a video on drug-induced psychosis, because it's common and people can be terrified when it happens and not sure and think they've gone mad and so forth. So I want to address it for you so that you can understand it. When it comes to drugs, really, we divide them into three categories: hallucinogens, stimulants, and depressants. And so, depending on the drug, they're chemicals, and therefore they have a chemical effect on the brain. And so, the chemical effects on the brain is how it creates the psychosis. With hallucinogens, the first one, that's like LSD, ecstasy, those sort of drugs that distort reality anyway. What happens with that is sometimes if people use them drugs too much, the brain has a way of self-regulating itself. So if you use hallucinogens too much, then the brain will start acting up and acting with psychosis, with mental health issues, and you will think you're losing your mind. But the drug is self-regulating you and making you stop, because really at that stage you have to say, well, I need to stop. And because it's not necessarily addictive as in a normal addiction like heroin or crack cocaine, the hallucinogen you can stop. So the answer is to stop. I've worked with people and they've come to me where they've had too many E's and things, and they've got the mental issues, and they'll come and they'll look terrified when they turn up that, oh, I've lost my mind, I've come to talk to you about I've lost my mind. And when I explain to them that the drug is self-regulating them and they just need to stop using and their brain will come back to normal, it's as if a whole weight lifts off of them and you see their whole faces light up where they are doomed. So a lot of time as well, if someone thinks that they've gone crazy, then their whole thing starts spiraling downwards. And by just reassuring the person that no, you will be okay again, you are okay, just stop using the drug, they will become normal again and they will leave and be happy. So if you're dealing with someone that has a hallucinogen drug-induced mental health problem, then tell them that it will pass, and it's just the brain needs to rebalance itself. The brain is made up all sorts of chemistry, and if you keep putting other chemicals in, it creates a little bit of a mess inside the brain, and so the brain tries to regulate it all the time. So sometimes it will create psychosis and mental health issues. So the next drug that we're dealing with, depressants like heroin, even like Valium and things like that. Yes, they can sort of bring their own problems, but they don't really bring a psychosis of such, so I don't really need to go there. Stimulants, yes, too much speed, crack, cocaine, methamphetamine, these things, if you use if you use too much, and everyone's different, I can't really say how much is too much, because some people have got very low tolerance and others have got high. But if you use too much of a stimulant, in the end sometimes you can have a drug-induced psychosis again. People with crack, cocaine and that will start seeing bees and snakes and things like that, maybe things, dots in the air, different things. And they think they're losing their mind. Again, if you think you're losing your mind, then it spirals downwards. So it's about, no, you haven't lost your mind, but you've used too much of the drug. You need to stop. Now when it comes to, say, a crack addiction, maybe it's hard to stop, but firstly know that if you've got the psychosis happening, then that is what's causing it, but it's not going to stop unless you stop, because the brain needs a rest. So now the thing is, you may have really bad psychosis where you want to harm others or you want to harm yourself, and you're a danger to yourself or others, and then therefore I do recommend you go and seek some health professional to help you through this period of time. But saying that, sometimes if you go to the psychiatric help and they're not so aware of drug-induced, and they're not always aware of all the factors involved, a drug-induced psychosis, they can start treating, because their way is to treat with medicines, chemicals again, their way often is to treat the symptoms, and so they'll give you more chemicals that they would normally give to someone who has a true psychosis. So in my opinion, then you're adding more chemicals in the mix, you're going to prolong the psychosis. But this is how they understand, and as well in the medical profession, it's about doing things fast, getting it dealt with fast. But really, if it's a drug-induced psychosis, it won't last more than about 6 weeks. I mean, I'm not saying it will last 6 weeks, but it wouldn't last. If you feel that you have got a drug-induced psychosis, you're not sure whether it was drug-induced or you're actually having issues with your brain, then after 6 weeks you will know. If you're still having issues, then you do need to seek help, because that wouldn't be caused by the drug, I would say. But if you have taken too much of the drug and the brain is saying, hold up, wait a minute, within 6 weeks I would say that the psychosis would be over. Now, there is things that you can do to help yourself if the psychosis comes. So let's address them. So I mean, when it comes to the ways to deal with it, you need to rest. You need good sleep, and you may not be able to sleep, but what I'm saying is these are the things you're aiming for. So you're aiming to rest, to get so that the body can work on the brain rather than doing all these other things. So it's about relaxing the mind, sleeping, having healthy foods, having enough fluid, because sometimes you can get very dehydrated, then that's a strain on the brain, because the brain will be dried out. So it's rest, sleep, and then some sort of exercise, not necessarily real strenuous, but maybe 20-30 minutes if you can, or more exercise to just help pump the system and release the chemicals and make the chemicals work in the brain that would make you balanced anyway. So alternative to in addition to that, I would say to use my herbs that I sell. You don't have to buy them from me. You can go in a Chinese herb shop and buy them, or you can buy them online, and I have different strengths and different ones. So the ideal one, I would say, would be Xiao one, because it's the strongest and it deals with internal heat. So it comes in little baubles, which I've shown in other videos, or it comes in little sachets. I would say the sachets are better than the little baubles, but the baubles are a little covered, they're like coated in shiny stuff that makes them easier to swallow, where these ones are not. But both will work. So I will put the names underneath. So the strongest is Xiao, which is this one. But then we've got Xiao, which is got weaker ingredients. Still will do. It's invented in Chinese. They recommend it as the happy pill. But the thing is, it's the Xiao one, because Xiao one, and then there's Bazi Xiao one, which is in between the two. But basically, it's the Xiao one that detoxes the body, that rebalances the brain, and it calms a person down. So even though I recommend it for detoxing off of any drugs and dealing with withdrawals and so forth, and it's very good for it because it detoxing and restoring balance. Also, if there's a drug-induced psychosis, they, I think, can be very helpful. So, as I say, they're available on my website, higherinsight.co.uk, or in Chinese herb shops, although sometimes they won't have the Xiao, they will only have the Xiao one. But that's what I can say. So I just want to make this quick video for Christmas. I try to make one every year for Christmas, and just tell you of the books that are available from my website, higherinsight.co.uk, or on Amazon. So I have this book that I wrote for the users, very, very simple, Stop Using Crack Cocaine and Reclaim Your Life. So as I say, that's written for the users in very simple. Then I did used to do training on how to work with women crack users, and this was the handbook that would go with the training, so that covers how to work with women crack users. And then I also did training on how to work with male crack users, so there's the Men and Crack Uncovered. Again, they're available from my site or they're available from Amazon. Anyway, wishing everyone a happy Christmas. I hope I helped clarify the difference between a psychosis that is created by mental health issues and one created by drug-induced too much use. Alright then, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Bye bye for now.